Hello and welcome to Hogo Game Day live from Northwood High School here in Saltville, Virginia. We've got a good crowd behind us
nice
here, cheerleaders.
Yeah.
Coach Tommy Prater here with us as the Panthers get set to take on the George Wythe Maroons. So, Coach, thank you for joining us here for the show.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming.
And we're expecting a pretty good crowd here tonight. Your Panthers are 6-0. For the first time in a long, or first time ever, I'm assuming here at Northwood, since 5-0 was the first time ever. How does the team feel going in this week, coming off that big win at Montcalm?
We're ready to go. We think we respect George Wythe. I told the guy the other day they're kind of the gold standard in the Hogie, and we're going to see if we match up with them.
Yeah, a lot of people, have been talking about them 2-3 this year, but they're sort of flying in under the radar. They've won 2 games back-to-back, so they're on a little bit of a streak. They had a bye week to get ready for Northwood. So.
I think they're better than a 2-3 team. They've got some good players. Skeen's kid, the quarterback, 32. We hope we can slow them down. We're going to give it a good effort.
Was there any different preparation this week for this George Wythe team versus other teams in the past?
Not really. Truthfully, we kind of stayed to our usual schedule. Nothing special, I guess. What are their personnel?
What are some things as far as game planning, though, knowing that Trey Skeens is as athletic as he is, he's rushed for over 3,000 yards in his career.
I'll be glad to see him graduate and go on to the next level. I think he will play at that level. Great football player.
Yeah, it'll be a fun matchup to see him and Blake Olinger. And speaking of Olinger, there's been a lot of talk about him. We've heard so many rumors about what all he's been through the past week and a half. What are some things that we can expect to see from him today?
Well, we're kind of curious to see, too. We're going to start him and see how it goes. We hope he's close to 100%, but we're not going to know till the game starts.
Now, since this game got rained out on Friday, did you utilize any of the weekend days for practice or anything like that?
We went out Friday for about an hour probably, just a little walk-through and pregame. We didn't do anything Saturday. Some of the kids were taking SATs, so we didn't get to go Saturday.
Did you get a chance to go to the game Friday?
Yeah, we went over, me and a couple of coaches, watched PH and Holston.
And that was pretty good for you all because you haven't faced
them. Yeah, we play them both, and so it's good preparation.
It's a good scouting opportunity there.
Yeah, you don't get that opportunity to go as a head coach on Friday night.
Yeah, and we just wonder, Monday night, different situation, how will the kids react?
Not to look ahead, but you've got a bye week, so you really don't have to worry. But if you're a coach and you have to get ready for a game again on Friday, you all sort of caught this at a good time.
We play this.
Oh, yeah, you do play for Friday. So what are you going to do as far as?
We'll adjust a little bit. Our normal Monday practice we won't have, but the rest of the week we'll just go through regular routine.
Yeah, because I know a lot of teams that might put them in a bind as far as that goes. So.
Right. Well, the weather doesn't look too good tomorrow. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a windy night tonight too, according to what we've read.
Yeah, that could actually play into your advantage. George Wythe really doesn't throw the ball much either, but the way your secondary's playing, that could play key tonight with the wind towards y'all.
Turley, Kieran, Greer, they played well for us.
Does it feel like I was thinking about this earlier in the week that secondary is going to have to come up and run support a lot tonight, especially now since the wind. Turley and Greer.
Stop the jet sweep. It's going to be a long night for us.
Yeah, we've got 2 different offenses here. We've got Northwood trying to get it pounded up the middle, and then you've got George Wythe trying to get to the edge with that jet sweep. What's the game plan as far as that, trying to get pressure on the edge, or is it just a contain type situation?
We think we've got 2 good outside linebackers. We'll see tonight. We think we've got a plan. Whether it works or not, we'll see.
Now, will we see, with Olinger injured, will we see him on defense?
We're planning on playing him on offense right now. We're not going to start him on defense.
Okay, yeah, I was wondering what you'd do with that. So Olinger will be starting on offense.
He's going to start on offense.
Okay, yeah, I believe we're expecting a pretty good game tonight. What do you feel like the score, as far as you feel like it's going to be a low scoring?
I have no idea. We hope it's well, like I said, if we don't stop the Jet, it's going to be high scoring their way. But we think we can. We'll see here in a little bit.
Very good.
Yeah, we're expecting a huge crowd. If you're listening in tonight, make sure you come join us here tonight, this huge game from Saltville, Virginia. Thank you for joining us, Coach.
Thank you all for all you do.
Thank you, Coach. We appreciate you.
Coach, Prater's Panthers are 6-0. Thank you, Coach. And with that, we'll go ahead and bring on Travis the Bus. Come on, join us, Travis. All right. With that, we'll go ahead and go to the Hogo. A little bit more of Hogo talk here. Let's go and recap Patrick Henry and Holston.
Yeah, we had a pretty good game against Patrick Henry and Holston. Final score on that one Friday night, 34-6. Patrick Henry over Holston. We talked about Dakota Humphreys a couple weeks ago. And with Dakota Humphreys against Holston, he had 19 carries, 209 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That gets him up to 16 touchdowns on the year. That leads everybody in the Hoga-Higgy. And this is I don't know the exact date, but Patrick Henry's won back-to-back district games for the first time in a long time.
It's been, hey, Travis.
Good evening. How you guys doing?
We're doing all right. Yeah, with that PH Holston game, Dakota Humphrey ran wild. And they gave the Rebels the first win over the Cavaliers since 2008.
Right. And that was a questionable win in 2008 at Patrick Henry.
That goal line stand by the Rebels.
Oh, I remember that night. A lot of stuff being thrown out of the stands at the end of that game.
That was a tough night to get home from.
Game. That's right. That's right. But Patrick Henry played incredibly well. I'm just really impressed with what Coach Palmer has done over there. They've got a lot of athletes. But, man, you look back and you think now, what could have been? They could very easily be 6-0 right now instead of sitting at 4-2. That's okay. They can pick up a couple more wins, get into the playoffs, and make some noise there. They're getting better every week, and we talked about the last couple of weeks how balanced their offensive attack is. It's really impressive, but the defense has played incredibly well also.
They had a lot of stopping that running back tandem that Rural Retreat had, but they've got another test this week. They've got Marion this week, and
it doesn't get any easier for PH.
No,
they've had the easiest district schedule up to this point, playing Rural Retreat and Holston. So we'll see what PH is made of with the real bulk of their schedule coming up.
And I would imagine with Patrick Henry and Holston able to get their ball game in Friday night, we may see several rowdy Rebels over here tonight scouting out. They've got games coming up against both Northwood and George Wythe here in the last 4 weeks of the season.
We've got a guest from Patrick Henry tonight, right?
Yeah, we're thinking that Coach Burke, defensive coordinator from Patrick Henry, is going to come up and join us at halftime of the ball game and stay with us midway through the third quarter, talking a little bit of defense. His Rebel defense has looked good so far this year.
It has. It's speed to the attack of the ball, and they played very physical. We talked about the two Nolan Ryan and Stone Mullins combo that they stopped, and we could see the same tonight. They play Chilhowie tonight, so I'm not sure what kind of defensive game, but I think if we go to the offensive side, Delp's got to throw the ball better for Chilhowie to beat Rural Retreat tonight.
Yeah, these are two teams that really hadn't impressed me from what we thought we would see in the preseason.
I think if whoever loses this game tonight may count the playoffs out for them. I'm not sure that you can come back from something like that.
Yeah, and we had a switch up there with the playoffs with PA defeating Rural Retreat the way they did at home 2 weeks ago. Let's go ahead and go to the Hoga-Higgy standings here. Northwood is at the top, 6-0, 2-0 in Higgy-wise, Rural Retreat's in 5th place, 3-3, 0-2 in the district. Chilhowie's in 6th, 1-5, 0-2 in the district, and Holston's 0-6, 0-2 in the district. So what is some reaction as far as Hogo standings? What do you guys see as far as looking at the Hogo standings?
Well, you see George Wythe just sitting right there just outside of the top 3 waiting to sneak in. I know people on the outside look at this game tonight and they say Northwood's 6-0, and then you look over at George Wythe and they're 2-3, and they wonder, well, what's the big deal? Why does this match up as a big ball game? Well, if you're not familiar with football in our area, the reason is it's because they are George Wythe. Now, we've talked about, we graduated all from Hoagie schools in 3 different decades. I graduated in the 90s, you were in the 2000s, you were in the 2010s. Was George Wythe not always the team that you had to beat? And it was like that in everything. It wasn't just football. It was basketball. It was baseball. George Wythe was the team to beat. They had all the athletes. They were the bigger school. And I don't think anything's changed. I think George Wythe is still the team you got to beat. You got to remember that we're only a couple years removed from a state championship for George Wythe.
And Trey Skeens was part of that ball team.
It is, and they may show a record of 2-3, but they're not a 2-3 ball club. Okay, they're going to play this game tough, and they probably know the stats just as well as anybody else has. Against Northwood, they're 22-2 all time. The only 2 games they've ever lost to Northwood is 94-96. And if my stats are right, there's not a team on this Northwood team, or there's not a player on this Northwood team that was even alive the last time Northwood beat George Wythe. So if that shows you anything on the power of George Wythe, that tells the tale there.
Yeah, George Wythe has been the gold standard in the Hoga for the last 20 years, basically. And with that is the Hoga standings. We've been commercial-free for the first 20 minutes of the show from our sponsors, Carter's Pharmacy here in Saltville, Virginia. So we've got about 3 minutes to go till our first commercial break. With that, let's go ahead and talk about this ball game, or the other ball game going on, Chilhowie at Rural Retreat. Let's go ahead and just sort of give an insight. Don't give a prediction, but give your insight to this game.
Well, I think it's must-win for both teams. We've already talked about this. You got to win to keep your playoff hopes alive. It's hard to believe that Chilhowie still has playoff hopes with that record, but they do. But they've got to win this game tonight. And I think it's the same for what Patrick Henry did a week ago with Rural Retreat. You got to stop that running back combo. And I think if Chilhowie's going to be successful on offense, Delp's got to throw the ball with some accuracy. I think we saw that was the weakness in Rural Retreat's defense against Patrick Henry. Quarterback Zach Wright was 15 of 23, 156 yards and a touchdown. I think Delp's going to
seen against Marion. The only way they are going to be able to move the ball is in the air against Rural Retreat. It's like you said, they're weak in the secondary. But there's a swirling wind out here tonight, and it's only going to pick up as the night goes on. Is that going to hurt him? He's already not been accurate his last couple times out. So,
do you feel like, especially for Chilhowie, they only have 1 win this year. This has got to be a must-win. If they don't win this game, I don't see them making it to the playoffs, and I really don't think they have a very probable chance right now. The only they're 18th right now. They haven't won but 1 football game. That must be how low the competition is at the bottom of the scale. But with that, if they don't win another game, they're not going to make it. So they need to win a few more just to at least get them a spot in the playoff.
Yeah, the stakes may not be quite as high for Rural Retreat yet, but they really need this win badly too to feel better, to feel good going into the playoffs after losing that game to Patrick Henry last week.
Well, also with the wind, with what you were talking about, if the wind plays in favor, then you've got to give it to Rural Retreat with those 2 running backs. If they're going to run the ball against Chilhowie, that's how they're going to have to do it with those 2 guys. But we saw the quarterback last week run the ball efficiently against Patrick Henry. But talking about Chilhowie's schedule, they turn around and play George Wythe at home this Friday.
Yeah.
And then they get a bye week before they get Patrick Henry and at Holston. Now, you think the Holston game might be a win, but Patrick Henry's no pushover either.
That's a big game for PH, especially if they do not beat Marion. They can bounce back
right,
and beat Chilhowie, because Patrick Henry's had a hard time. beating Chilhowie like they have every Hoga team the past few years.
You guys may have hit on this already before I got here, especially talking with Coach a few minutes ago. How does the preparation change to have to play on a Monday night?
We talked about that a little bit, and he just said that basically they went through some walkthrough type stuff on Friday. Saturday they weren't able to do anything because of the SATs. So they really just got an extra day basically of a walkthrough, and they have Holston this Friday. So he said they just take out their Monday, which is pretty light from what I've seen around the Hoga. Everybody's pretty light, trying to get healed back up, getting ready for a Tuesday practice.
I think from the feel we got from Coach Prater, it may affect the next game a little more than it will this game. He really didn't utilize the extra time for extra preparation for this game, but you're going to have less for the next game. Now, Northwood will turn around and play Holston this week, and Holston's not a very good opponent. But if you look at it, if you were playing a little bit better team, you could probably say this may hurt the schedule-wise.
Well, to me, it's really going to hurt George Wythe as far as having to go to Chilhowie.
Well, yeah, George Wythe's the team that's got to travel. Now you got to go back tonight. You got a school day tomorrow. Yeah, it just really throws a monkey wrench into the whole schedule. But, it's pretty cool to have our own version of Monday Night Football over here in Salt Vegas tonight. So we're looking forward to this ball game.
This is the first Monday Night Football game in the Hoga since 2009, and we've actually got two. We've got this game, George Wythe and Northwood, and we've got Chilhowie Rural Retreat.
Well, who are we competing with tonight on the Monday Night Football?
Who watches the NFL anyway?
San Francisco and St. Louis, maybe?
We might have more viewers.
I think we win that. I think we might get more on that.
We might get more viewers. But with that, we've been commercial-free for 20 minutes, brought to you by Carter's Pharmacy here in Saltville, Virginia. We'll be right back from Saltville for predictions and a little in-game talk about George Wythe Northwood. We'll be right back.
The Hogo Game of the Week is provided by Abingdon Equipment, Appalachian Plastics, Big M Farm Service, Carter's Pharmacy, Glade Pharmacy, Political Dogs, Serber & Son. Make sure you watch and listen at HogoGameDay.com. Keep up with all the action in the Hogo.
But Marion's going to take over here on the 10-yard line, right in the red zone. That handoff to Wagner up the middle. There's a lot of Warriors in the backfield. Here comes Wagner around the edge, diving in. Touchdown!
Like us on Facebook, Hogo Game Day. Follow us on Twitter at Hogo Game Day. And check out our very own website, www.hogogameday.com.
Snaps on the handoff. He breaks loose. He's past the 50, down to about the 35, and he's knocked hard out of bounds by Riley Blevins. So that was a big-time hit by Riley.
Listen to our audio broadcast on your mobile device by downloading the Spreaker app through the Google Play Store for Android devices and on the App Store for iOS devices, and search for the Hoga Network.
All right, welcome back to Hogo Game Day live from Northwood High School. This is Dylan Hutton along with Travis DeBusk and Corey Johnson. We're getting closer to kickoff here. A fun Monday night game on tap here. Get ready for predictions coming up here in a few minutes on the show.
Man, what beautiful weather we've got tonight. An ugly forecast coming up for tomorrow, but, man, it is very nice out here right now. Good temperature. Great night for some football.
Let's go ahead and thank the cheerleaders here for coming out and supporting their team. They're very excited. The fan base here in Saltville is riled up. They're excited about this 6-0 start, and they're trying to get to 7-0 tonight. But with that, let's go ahead and break down this George Wythe and Northwood game. George Wythe comes in this thing 2-3, 6-0 or 2-3. And Northwood is 6-0 in the Hoga. A team comparison. You got Trey Skeens versus Blake Olinger. Trey Skeens, of course, is one of the wing backs and a wide receiver in that. Career 3,724 yards and 46 touchdowns. Now, Blake Olinger is a great running back. He's a game changer, but he's going to be kind of limited today as far as what I'm getting from it, unless he we'll just have to see. It's going to be a question mark right at kickoff with him.
I think when you look at what they're going to do tonight, I think we're going to see more of Doan running the ball. But he's got 70 carries, 697 yards on the season, 6 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Not quite the 13 that Olinger has. But I think we're going to see more of him tonight probably than Olinger.
Yeah, and Turley can get to the edge
That's
just
it,
the same
yeah.
way.
They can play that same game plan as George Wythe is probably going to play tonight. And I think you were talking about the forecast. With the forecast being for wind, I think if that plays in anybody's favor, it might be Northwood's. Northwood's secondary really jumps all over the ball, as we saw against Chilhowie. So I think that may play into them. But either way, neither team really passes the ball. Northwood's only passed the ball 18 times this year for a total. George Wythe has only completed 16 to 34, 234 yards. That's Darius Moore for George Wythe. So I don't think we're going to see a whole lot of passing at all on either side of the ball.
I mean, he's done his homework.
Yeah,
We're about to start getting better off. Both these teams are run heavy. You got George Wythe trying to get it outside every time, pretty much. They would run it, pound it up the middle, see what they can get. And it's going to be a physical football game. George Wythe, it's going to be fun to see that George Wythe passing game. I know you said they hadn't passed it very much, but for me, the way I see it, they're going to have to pass to be able to be in this football game.
I agree.
It's going to be George Wythe's passing game versus Northwood's secondary, and I think that's going to be a fun matchup.
Yeah. Northwood's got plenty of speed out on the corners to seal those ends off, so it's going to be an entertaining ball game for sure.
Yeah, with that, here comes George Wythe getting ready to come in, I think. But let's do some keys to the game here for George Wythe and for Northwood. With that, I mean, what I see for George Wythe is stack a box, make Northwood pass the football, make them beat you in the air, not on the ground. Get off to a fast start here in Saltville. This crowd will be pretty rowdy. If the cheerleaders are any sign, they'll be all excited as much as they are. And for George Wythe, get your playmaker the ball. Big game Trey is what they call Trey Skeens. So
I think you're exactly right, and especially for George Wythe, figure out what role Olinger's going to be playing in this offense. Early. You got to establish that early. And I think if George Wythe can get a good start, they could probably come out of this. But if they don't, if they let Northwood linger around, I think Northwood could come out of here with a win tonight and end up 7-0.
All right, let's turn around here and talk about keys to the game for Northwood. Find a way to take the pressure off Olinger, especially if he's going to be limited. Find a way to at least keep him inside of the offense and keep George Wythe guessing. Keep drives going. When you see those third down and shorts, fourth and short, Northwood's been able to get those in the past games. We'll see if they're able to do that tonight. Contain QB Darius Moore. He's a very dual threat type of guy, so they'll have to keep him in the pocket.
Yeah, we don't have those stats in front of us, but Northwood on third down this year has been incredible. And the reason for that is when they have third down, it's 3rd and 3, or it's 3rd and 2, or it's 3rd and 1. They keep those in manageable third down situations, and they keep those long drives going. I believe we were here for the, I guess it was the Northwood-Marion game, where, they had drives that would last 6 minutes. So when you have a 6-minute drive in a 12-minute quarter, that's a pretty good chunk off of the clock that the other team doesn't have an opportunity to score.
Those third and shorts are a whole lot shorter when you got a 240-pound running back in Blake Olinger taking the ball up the middle.
And I think we're going to see a lot of different running backs for Northwood tonight. I think we're going to see Doan carry the ball, Roberts, Call. I think we're going to see a lot of different runners tonight with Olinger being a question mark.
Another key, I don't have this written down for Northwood, but I'm anxious to see how well they are one-on-one tackling outside. Whenever Trey Skeens comes around on that sweep, somebody's going to have to be there to stop him, and that's going to be pretty much a lot of pressure on the secondary there, not only in pass defense, but in the run defense. It's time for predictions, the fun part of the show here. We're going to start off with a new segment called Over and Under. Since we only have 2 games, we'll add a little bit more to it. Who has more passing yards tonight, if we even see any passing? Darius Moore or Channing Call?
I'm going to go with Call.
Why?
Well, they've proved they can throw when they have to. They haven't thrown a whole lot, but in the games we've done so far this season, they've thrown it effectively. The receivers get out there and just get a little bit of separation, just a nice, easy pass over the line of scrimmage, I think call.
I'm going to go with Moore because I think that he's going to be throwing the ball more. I think Northwood's going to contain Trey Skeens on the end, and I think, therefore, they're going to have to pass the ball more.
They like Darius Moore.
Yeah,
here.
I can tell.
More rushing yards. Eric Doan, Blake Olinger, or Trey Skeens. Who ends up with the most?
I'm going to go with Skeens on that one, kind of going along the same lines that Corey went. He's just going to have to carry the ball so much more. At least Northwood has some more athletes. They can spread the handoffs around. George Wythe's pretty much going to have to lean on Skeens all night.
I think it'll be Doan. I think Doan will get most of the carries tonight. And I'm not sure about Blake Olinger. I don't think anybody is. So I'm going to go with Doan on that one.
What is it? Doan deal? That was in the paper. Doan is the real deal, too. Who needs a win more? Let's go ahead and talk about Northwood's favorite rival school, Chilhowie. I was waiting to get a reaction. Who needs a win more, Chilhowie or Rural Retreat?
I think this is a toss-up. They both need them. They both need it bad. It may be a little more desperation for Chilhowie than Rural Retreat right now, but if Rural Retreat loses this game, where are they going to pick up any more wins? This may be their last legitimate chance to pick up one, so they both need it.
I think Chilhowie's really searching for their identity still. I think they need a win to kind of get them on track of what they're going to do. We saw Patrick Henry break out the pass game last week, and I think Chilhowie's going to have to do the same, but they've got to commit to one or the other. They've got to get their game plan and find that identity, but I'm going to go with Chilhowie on that one.
Chilhowie. Who are y'all pulling for? Chilhowie or Rural Retreat? Rural Retreat. Well,
when you don't like them, you don't like them.
Yeah, you don't like your rival, you don't like them. All right, it's time for game picks. Get excited. It's time. We're going to start off with Chilhowie 1-5, traveling to Rural Retreat. Rural Retreat upset Chilhowie last year. Chilhowie, of course, went on to win the Hogahegie District. Boy, how things have fell off. Who do you have?
Well, we're 6 weeks into the season so far, and I've picked Chilhowie every week. So far, they've only won one ball game, so now maybe is the time to change it up. But, nah, I'm going to go with the Warriors. I think they're desperate, and they're going to pull out all the stops, pick up the win tonight. Give me Chilhowie one more time. But I promise if they lose tonight, I'm not picking them again.
I'm going with Chilhowie, too. I think they need a win tonight, and I think they get the job done. I think I'm going with Chilhowie, too.
Chilhowie. Man, how could you pick against them? Rural Retreat's a good football team. Don't get me wrong. They run that veer. They're real good. Stone Mullins, Nolan Ryan. But tonight, the difference is Hunter Delp. I think he's actually going to show up tonight. I've got Chilhowie in a close one. All right, it's time for the big game here. George Wythe, 2-3, coming to Saltville, Virginia, to take on the Northwood Panthers, 6-0.
Who you got, Travis?
Well, we hit on it a second ago. You can't overlook George Wythe's record. They're 2-3. Northwood comes in 6-0. Here's the key. How confident is Northwood? I'm sure they believe that they can beat George Wythe, but have they forgotten that George Wythe is George Wythe? You know, everything that they've done in the decades that they've been in the Hogahegie District. They're a big-time team. You hit on it. You said they're the gold standard. They're the team to beat. But I think Northwood, I think they've got the game plan. I believe the way they're going to run it up the middle. I'm going to go with the Northwood Panthers here at home tonight with the fact George Wythe's got to travel. You know, a lot of things, there's a lot of variables in the game being postponed till tonight, but Northwood's at home. Let's give them the edge. Let's go Panthers.
Who you got, Bill?
You going to go or you want me to go?
Go ahead.
I tell you, I could almost flip a coin on this game. I'm really not sure. It's going to be a good football game. I know I got to pick.
He said it was going to be a game-time decision.
It is a game-time decision. George Wythe on that jet sweep. It'd be hard to go against Trey Skeens. Blake Olinger's out. Eric Doan will fill the role. Eric Doan will be able to get Northwood into the fourth quarter with George Wythe. But George Wythe has lost too many games this year. Give me the Panthers. I'm taking the Panthers by 14. Uh-oh. There, the Northwood hat.
Got the
I'm
Northwood
gonna make
hat
it a
on.
clean sweep, boys.
Northwood.
Northwood.
We all got Northwood. So make sure you tune in. We'll go ahead and say it. Next week we'll be in Emory for Patrick Henry and Marion. That'll be a good ball game.
Actually, that's coming up later on this week.
Oh, yeah,
Friday
not
night.
next week.
yeah.
Friday
Shoot.
night.
So, yeah, make sure you join us later on here in just a few minutes at 7 o'clock as we go in for the live game broadcast for Northwood and Georgia. Thank you all for tuning in from Dylan Hutton, Travis DeBus, Corey Johnston, Andy Brown, and all these Northwood cheerleaders. We'll see you later on, not Saturday. Thank you for tuning in.